Obviously, you've got to set those goals. We have that with our theory of action as kind of our guiding principles. But the strategic plan that we have right now is Dr. Gorman's plan. We've seen it, we've had an opportunity to comment on it, but at the end of the day, that was his plan to help us reach our theory of action. And what we have opted to do is to yearly, as part of the superintendent evaluation, is to review where are we, how are we doing as it relates to the goals that have been laid out in that strategic plan, and I'm very comfortable with that role. So we have set the broad goals. We have set where we want to be, but it's that superintendent who says, okay, here's the roadmap board. Are you comfortable with it? Are you comfortable with this roadmap? And we have said yes. And along the way, we have checks and balances to make sure that we are meeting or reaching those goals.
So the checks and balances, is that what you're talking about in terms of monitoring? What types of checks and balances? How would they relate to your goals or your policies, which are really good?
Actually, I just got it this week. Mm-hmm. It is a nice big spreadsheet that shows the 2014 goals. One of them, the graduation rate, as an example. Our goal is to hit 90% by 2014. I think everybody recognizes that is a stretch goal, and I'm okay with that being a stretch goal. It means we need to be averaging from here on out about an increase of 6% a year, which is double what we did this year. But on that spreadsheet, it lays out between now and 2014 the points that we need to be hitting each year to reach that 90% goal. And so we have that with a variety of the goals, our EOCs, EOGs, where we want to be there, closing the achievement gap. All of those goals that are in our 2014 plan are in that spreadsheet, and it's based on the 4 years. Where do we need to be each year to meet those goals? And like I said, we just received that. In the process of going through that, it was one of the last actions or last requirements that we asked of Dr. Gorman as part of his, when he left, is that we wanted to see where we are as it relates to those 2014 goals.
And does that relate to his compensation as well?
Absolutely. It does relate to his compensation as far as bonuses. And in the last, I guess it's the last 3 years, I know since I've been on, it's been very clear, it's been made very clear by Dr. Gorman that one, he would not even consider or accept the bonus, and his top staff folks who had bonus opportunities in their contracts, they would not accept them either. As long as we were not giving out raises, we would not give out bonuses. One of the things that I am hopeful with the hiring of the new superintendent is that if we are going to move to a performance-based measure for teachers, we need to have that in the contract of the new superintendent. If it's something that we're going to move to as an organization, the superintendent needs to lead that. And so that is one of the things that I will be pushing for as we move forward in that direction. That is something that if Dr. Gorman had have stayed, we had already had those discussions, and it was going to be included in his next contract. So I really think you'll see that.
You'll be doing a superintendent search.
Yes, ma'am.
If you could have anybody in the country, who or what kind of person would you choose and why?
I don't know who. I haven't looked. I'm keeping a very open mind on that. I'm looking for 3 things. I need somebody who communicates well, because I think that's been one of our challenges recently, and we need somebody who can communicate with teachers, with parents, with the community at large, with administrators. Has to be able to do that. I want somebody who has experience running a large organization We are almost a $1.2 billion entity. 1.2 billion. We need somebody who understands how you run an organization that large that has somewhere between 16,000 and 18,000 employees, depending on the year. You have to have somebody who understands that. And thirdly, I want somebody who has a track record of success, particularly as it relates to in the education field. That's what I'm looking for. We have several board members, at least one board member, who is very interested in non-traditional candidates. If we go the route of a non-traditional candidate, that candidate has to have some sort of track record in his or her background as it relates to education. That's what I'm going to be looking for.
Can you talk a little bit more about what you mean by that? Do you mean educational? Do you mean educational training, educational experience, and do you mean a CEO of another school system, or just talk a little bit about what you mean by that?
Yeah, Louise, I'm open-minded right now. I certainly would like to have somebody as superintendent who has at least been in the classroom for a couple of years. Is that a requirement, an absolute hard requirement for me? No. But I think it certainly helps if you've had that classroom experience. You've got to have somebody who I said has experience running a large organization, a complex organization. Does that mean I want somebody who strictly has only private sector experience? No, because what happens, the rules, the regulations, the other things for education are very different than what is in the private sector many times. Would private sector experience be something that I look for? Yeah, but once again, it's not, I don't have a checklist that says my perfect candidate has to have this, 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 or this, or I won't support him or her. I'm really going into this with an open mind, but what I'm looking for, like I said, is somebody who can communicate, experience in managing a large organization, and success in an academic environment. There could be somebody out there who has a tremendous amount of experience and success managing a community college system that's looking to come in this direction. I would take a look at that if they also have some K-12 experience that could relate to what we're trying to accomplish here at CMS.
Would you say then that no internal candidate could meet your qualifications?
No, I think there are probably 3 or 4 internal candidates who could meet that qualification. There are a number of folks, either they have experience running large portions of CMS, or they have experience in other organizations. They have classroom experience and they've moved up through the system. So yeah, I think there are 2, 3, 4 people who meet that qualification. We've had a number who have left the last year or 2 who would have met those qualifications. So absolutely, I think there are potentially internal candidates who meet those qualifications.